Welcome to Van Life Pantry. Today we are making soup. I am going to make a chicken potato rice soup. And I'm using my electrical connection today because I happen to be at a place that allows the electrical hookup. So we are going to have some potato, some celery, some carrots and peas, and some chicken and rice and spices and garlic. I'm going to do it a little bit simply because it's difficult to do from scratch sometimes, so I'm giving some options for avoiding working from scratch. So follow along, here we go. Okay, so the potatoes and celery are cooking from scratch, and while that is happening, I'm going to be preparing some other things, and at the same time, I'm using my butane stove to make some blueberry muffins. While I have the daylight and the opportunity, I'm going to make the muffin mix and see how that works. And I think I'm going to try it in my skillet. I haven't decided. I have the Omnia Oven and I could just go ahead and use it in the Omnia Oven. But we'll see. I'm going to decide that here in the next minute or two. Okay, I am going with the Omnia for various reasons, one of which is I am using a Paleo mix and it is almond flour, and that means it will not act well in a skillet. So I have mixed half the batter and I'm going to put that half into my Omnia. And I'll mix the other half and we'll see how it acts. I don't have enough to really fill up the whole thing. It's not a huge mix. So I'm just gonna fill up as I can here and we're gonna see what happens, as we always do. Trial and error. Okay, I took that back. I mixed the other half and then I pulled that back out because I'm adding a little extra moisture, and that's because I didn't use as much as it asked for on the first half, and I ended up with a little more than it asked for on the second half. So I'm mixing it all together. Now, for making mixes, I really need a bigger mixing bowl. But for space economy, I don't want to carry around a bigger mixing bowl. So I either have to learn how to make mixes half and half, or or something. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in here now. See how that will go. I'm not sure how much of the oven this is gonna fill. As you can see, it's not an exact science when you're just out here working with what you got and wearing a jacket when it's 42 degrees outside. So, let's see how that goes. Spread that around, make it even. I'll wipe up a little of that excess here in a second. Okay, so here we go. It is in the pan. I am turning on the heat. I am placing the lid, and we will get back to the soup. This was the second half of the potato that I ended up not putting in the soup, and I just fried it up so I can just have that with my soup when it's ready. Okay, I have strained the liquid off of the potatoes and celery, and now we're going to add our other ingredients. We're going to add chicken broth. I'm using just an 8-ounce container, and I will probably use 2 of these. I am using a canned roasted chicken breast because it's already cooked, and that way I don't have to worry about the difficulty of cooking raw chicken right now while I'm doing all of this other stuff. Not that I couldn't cook raw chicken, but that it is a whole lot easier to start with pre-cooked chicken. This is a 5-ounce can, and I'm gonna use about half of it. And then we'll see. I may add more, but we'll see what it looks like. Remember, I'm making 1 to 2 person serving here, and you don't want leftover soup because soup is awfully hard to store leftover in the 12-volt vehicle fridge. I'm gonna break it up, stir it in. And I typically try to avoid rice, but I am going to add rice in this because I'm not the only one eating this.
Hello.
And there was a request for chicken and rice soup. So I am using pre-cooked rice because I don't have time to make rice right now. I'm using Seeds of Change brown basmati pre-cooked rice. And I'm just gonna, this is an 8.5-ounce bag. I'm gonna use a little less than half. As it turns out, I'm using actually about 1/4 of that bag of rice. Next, I'm going to put in a few frozen peas that I have thawed for this purpose. And some frozen carrots that I have thawed for this purpose. So now we have our broth, chicken, rice, peas, carrots, celery, potatoes. Next I'm going to add some fresh thyme, and I'm going to add a bay leaf. I don't like the stalks on the thyme, so I actually take the little tiny thyme leaves off the stalk and just sprinkle them in. Next I'm going to put some minced onion. These spices are spices that I got at a local farmer's market, and they grow them there on site and they process them there on site, and I know that they are fresh and good, and I'm just gonna throw some minced onion in. I'm going to add a bit of garlic powder. I'm going to add that next bit of broth. Next I'm going to add a little bit of dill and black garlic mixed with some gray sea salt. Just a little goes a long way. And then I'm going to put the lid on. Let's take a look at, yeah, the muffin. That is looking good. Not quite ready, but we're getting there. Okay, I've turned this down to a simmer. I'm going to take the bay leaf out. And we are ready. And the blueberry muffin is ready. Color changing. Yeah, that's ready all the way to the bottom. So we'll turn that off. So that's a wrap. I did chicken rice soup with vegetables. I did grain-free almond flour blueberry muffin mix in the Omnia Oven. And thankfully I was able to do both because I had electricity and I had butane for the butane stove. So now I'm gonna eat. But I topped it with half of an avocado and some fresh cilantro because well, that just adds flavor, and also there is a lot of nutritional punch in an avocado and in cilantro. So I hope you enjoyed the video, as crazy as it was and not professionally produced, and you know, it gives you a glimpse into how difficult it can be to prepare things. It took quite a while. It took me about an hour and a half to do this, and because I didn't have the phone where I could use it for telling time on the clock and I wasn't paying attention to the clock, I don't exactly know how long the blueberry muffin mix took, but I think it took about 30 minutes. And I think that it took me a total of about an hour to finish cooking everything, with a few minutes prep beforehand, and now it will probably take me a half hour to clean up and put everything away. So this is why I don't cook big meals more than once a day, really. And when I do cook some other meals, I use the little Dash Mini because that's just a couple of ingredients, it's quick, it's easy, and done. When I do outdoor cooking, I have to get more things out. I have to get into my storage areas in the vehicle and pull out a lot more items. And this time I'm actually going to do dish washing. I'm going to heat water and I'm going to fill my collapsible dish washing sink, and then I'm going to wash the dishes rather than just using my vinegar and water mix that I sometimes use. So another meal in the books, and you know, it's chilly out. It's, like I said, it's about 42, but when you're moving and when you're busy and when you have a sweatshirt and a jacket on and you're just kind of keeping going and keeping the blood pumping, it doesn't feel cold. I actually don't feel cold right now at all. So and you get used to being outdoors more the more you do it. So I will join you next time, and until then, maybe I'll see you on down the road. Thank you for joining me. Or maybe not. How about I just do this?